You'll make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
All right, we made it to Tuesday night. It's a minor miracle having to be in multiple places at one time. The time machine worked. Fast forward in front of the camera right at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we are every Tuesday night here on Greeny Sports Cards Live, the world's first multi-stream broadcast for the hobby industry. And we appreciate you joining us this evening, whether you are live with us between 7 to 8 p.m. or catching us on the replay on any number of social media platforms, be it YouTube or Instagram or the Facebook or the Twitter, the X, LinkedIn, Twitch, and a number of points in between. We appreciate you continuing to join us as we bring you week over week athletes and influencers and coaches and hobby enthusiasts. And we try and tell the story of the hobby. And we will bring you upcoming shows this week. We'll bring you some hobby news. There's a lot to talk about. And let's get to it. So we'll jump right into the rundown and tell you how it's going to work tonight. So I may have made it in front of the camera, but the rest of my Wi-Fi hasn't. Haley, go ahead and run that rundown, and we'll let everybody know what's going to happen tonight. We will talk about our guest this evening. We will welcome in Joe Wysmierski from Phoenix Sports Cards here in a little bit to talk about all the news that's fit to print for the hobby industry. And we'll catch up. Certainly the PSA acquisition of Beckett is top of mind for everybody. So we'll talk about that and more with Joe. We will get into a card show live segment and talk about the hottest card shows around the country and tell you where, if you're looking for a card show this weekend, where you might be able to check that out. And then a little bit after that, we're going to welcome in a very, very special guest this evening, Tim Banazek, who is with the Big League Find, a 20 million plus sports card collection. We will get into the story of this discovery and amazing collection of memorabilia. And Tim has a great story about the journey to it and really has only scratched the surface on the cards and the discovery of what's in this magnificent vault. So very excited to talk to Tim. We'll talk to Joe, and we will welcome in the man himself here, Steve Greenberg, aka Greeny, owner, proprietor, and card show extraordinaire of Greeny Sports Cards. Greeny, welcome to your show.
Hey, Jeremy, another Tuesday in beautiful, cold Cleveland, Ohio. But we'll take it.
We will take it. It's we've been, I guess, the last few years, the weather hasn't hit quite as hard as it does traditionally here, but we've caught a little bit of snow, depending on what side of town you're on. But you know what's hot? The card show world, Greeny, and from all facets, from small collectors to big news. We'll get into it with Joe, but what's top of mind for you this week?
Man, so it really, it was the card shows, and then boom, we see last night that collectors who owns the parent company of PSA, is acquiring Beckett. So they're going to have Beckett grading, PSA grading, SGC grading. I talked to Joe a little bit about it earlier. There's so much going on in this hobby industry. You just never know what's going to happen next. And we'll get into a little of that. We'll get into some of the card shows that are coming up this week and all that hobby news. And Topps Chrome Basketball is coming out this week that, Joe's going to talk about.
Yeah, we get to actually talk about cards, which is why we're here. So actually, the other reason we're here is because we have tremendous support, Greeny, from people that continue to watch the show and share and post, and we encourage people to do that. You can interact regardless of what platform you are on. If you enter the comments section with a question or comment for our guests or for us, we can see that and add you to the show. We encourage that. Of course, not only the support of our viewers, but the support of our sponsors, and we really appreciate that, including Giannino's Pizzeria.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I'm a year older now, so Mommy can give me Giannino's pizza. Hey, whoever thought of making a great tasting Giannino's pizza with all these fresh ingredients? They gotta be some kind of genius. More, Mommy!
Every Giannino's pizza is made with fresh dough, delicious tomato sauce without additives or preservatives, and fresh provolone cheese shredded daily. For a location near you, go to Gianninos.com.
You want a piece of me?
So, Greeny, we're going to get to talk to Tim of the Big League Find coming up. And for him, what began as a backyard find has now become a journey of uncovering and cataloging and sharing one of the most extraordinary collections in the hobby. So really excited to talk to him coming up. And before that, really excited to talk to our hobby insider as well, Joe Wysmierski of Phoenix Sports Cards. And we'll go coast to coast as we do every week and welcome in Joe and say hello out there in Phoenix.
Gentlemen, what's happening?
Joe, I like the hairdo today. It's just straight down.
You know what? Thanks. It has been incredibly busy in the shop. We know with the holiday season and retail in general, it has just been wild. And collections coming in.
Listen, we all love that. I've purchased a few collections in my life. Tim's going to tell us about one of the greatest collections ever. And I mean, that is really the heartbeat of what we do, Joe. I know that you have a store and you do a lot of wax, but the collections are really what drives everything, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's really what makes hobby shops and card shops what they are. I mean, Greeny, you guys have a specific thing that you guys, I mean, you don't really have a big shop to come into, but you know what I'm talking about with the feel. Like when people come in the door, they think they have this big find. I mean, you're educating them on what they have. And dude, it's just what makes this job fun. And it's different every day. I literally, minutes before I hopped on with you guys, I'm out at a car looking through a collection where this woman had all of these sealed packs and items that were inside this plastic piece that was from a KB Toys from mid 90s. And she's like, so you're telling me, it looks like you have packs in there that are the same year. And you said you would only offer $1 on these. I said, well, you have 1989 Topps packs. We had 82 Topps packs, which are drastically different. And, just giving that whole education piece. And dude, it's a surprise and a gift every day, my friend.
It is. And you find some really cool stuff that not to steal the Pawn Stars line, but you never know what's going to walk through the door.
Yeah, she brought in 3 giant binders, and she's like, there's a John Elway rookie in there. And I was like, that's fantastic. Yeah. So we looked at it and I said, well, here's one online that sells for $40 that has decent centering. Here's yours. And it doesn't have good centering, but it's an awesome card. Let me put a new sleeve on it for you. We'll put it back in your binder and we'll keep going from there. But I mean, that's what the hobby is. That's what makes these shops and these stories so great, is just the connection you can build with people and from young collectors all the way to old collectors, and just, helping them understand value and really what value the value's in the beholder, right? The eye of the beholder. So whatever it's worth. We had a gentleman who sat down with Ray and I for lunch, who all he loves to do is come in and buy Pokemon, but he loves negotiating the price. He says no one else will give him the time of day. He said, I don't care if it's $5 less. I just love the game back and forth. And I indulge him in it. I love it too. It's fun.
It is.
You wouldn't get that anywhere else.
All right, Joe, let's get to the big news of the week, because this acquisition will reverberate across the entire hobby industry. Grading is top of mind even before that for a lot of people, and the who, what, why, and where of how all that's done. And now Collectors has acquired Beckett. What was your initial reaction, and what is the vibe out there right now from what you're hearing?
Jeremy, I'm not going to give you a reaction to what you think would be like. I'm not shocked. It's not a surprise at all to me. For someone like, when I'm looking at the overall landscape, come on, dude, this has been happening for 12 to 18 months. They've just been slowly going down the chart from number 2 to number 3 to 4 to back up to 3. Like, it's not a shock that eventually it would happen. Beckett has the price guide. I believe what's being sold is, the Beckett grading service, the autograph authentication, and the actual magazine. But the marketplace, Southern Hobby, and then the Dragon Shield gaming shield, those are the items that aren't a part of the overall deal. But it is what it is when it comes to this grading. CGC has moved itself into being the number 2 spot within grading in the hobby for sports and non-sports. It's just, you hate to see it because Beckett has such a strong name and a big brand, but it was a matter of time. I don't know what it adds to PSA's portfolio, other than them just putting it under their thumb. If they're going the same route of saying that it's a boutique brand, just like SGC, sure. But it wasn't really in a threatening posture at all to overtake PSA at all. So I'm so confused with the acquisition of it, and you're not getting the other key pieces like Southern distribution. So
let me ask you this. We learned a couple weeks ago on this shirt, not today I learned, but a couple weeks ago we learned that the hobby's first grading system evolved from coin collecting. It wasn't meant for cards. The whole idea of a 1 through 10 grading scale. Is there any positives that come out of this consolidation of the grading? Will there be some manner of consistency? Can people finally agree on the grading system itself, or is this a case of monopolization and the consumers will ultimately get hurt?
I think they did a great job ensuring that it wasn't a case of monopolization, because they allowed that, maybe they just shrunk the amount of submissions that they were taking over time. Because really, from a business standpoint, with PSA increasing the cost and the amount of time it takes to grade an item, you would think that was a great opening for Beckett to come in and be like, hey, we're going to do this, this, and that. We're going to have faster grading times. We're going to make it more affordable. And that just wasn't the case. And everyone was dumbfounded by what was, really happening. As far as, the biggest takeaway I can see is just getting the workforce, not having enough people to really take in the submissions that they have now. And now you have people that understand standards of grading, standards of autograph authentication, and you're widening your reach over the United States. So as we talk about the increase in postage, now you have something more centralized in Texas. You're all over the United States. I mean, you're Florida, you're New Jersey, you're California, you're Texas now. So geographically, it makes sense and it's smart for them. But at the end of the day, unless you had the black label Beckett, you weren't beating a PSA 10. And now it just kind of streamlines everything. Again, if you're CGC, you have a great opportunity in front of you. You really do. And
did you see their post? I mean,
they
put a post out, and I don't remember it, so I'm not going to say exactly what it said, but it was basically like, hey, come to CGC. These are our turnaround times. These are our prices. We're going to do A, B, C, and D.
That's great. And that's what they should do. I mean, and let's not forget, CGC also merged with JSA. So JSA, you know, that's bringing more reputable authentication also with CGC. So, you know, maybe we'll see a good showdown, Jeremy. Maybe we're going to see this really help consumers. But the thing that hurts CGC is they just lag behind PSA and total value. You do not have collectors going out there and getting Fleer Jordan CGC'd. You don't have it. You had them doing it in either SGC, PSA, or Beckett, and now that's all under one roof.
Yeah, it remains to be seen how it's going to play out. They're going, you know, SGC is independent of PSA, and they say Beckett is going to be as well. And listen, we'll just see. I personally love a Beckett holder. That's my personal preference.
They're awesome. And then the other thing, and Chaz, you're 100% right. Standardized AI grading. Eventually, it will come down the line, right? I mean, I hate, Steve, I know you're going to say we like to have a little bit of human. And
no, I don't mind it. I just don't know that they'll get it right every time.
There you go. That's true. But back to your point with the Beckett holder, I mean, being able just to see the grades for each standard is huge. And maybe Beckett held a patent on the subgrades or something along those lines. And now by, you know, taking over Beckett, maybe PSA will have a new holder that offers subgrades. Like,
oh my God, people will lose their minds. Don't say that.
They would.
You never know. You never know. PSA outsells everybody. It is what it is. But I love a Beckett holder. And actually, I don't even mind an SGC holder. There's a Beckett holder right now, Hannah Hidalgo.
Yeah, the SGC tuxedos, as they call them, I mean, those look great with certain cards. SGC did a great job, too, with new releases and offering deals to get cards in their holders. PSA doesn't have to, they don't have to offer deals to put people in their holders. That's the problem, is they're going to continue to do what they do within the market because they are the standard. And if someone else does not come up and meet that standard or assume that standard, PSA is the way to go from here on out. Like, if you are trying to buy and sell cards to make a profit, that is how you have to do it. And even to the point where the gentleman who likes to barter back and forth about Pokemon, there was a card in there. He really wanted this Pikachu. It was a PSA 9. It is a promo card. It sells for $14 to $15. I said, you know what? I will sell that card in our cases. I can't sell it to you for 14 or 15 bucks because I'm going to sell it for $10 in our cases, because that card alone is $8, and then you're going to pay at minimum $23 to $24 to have that card graded. Like, that's the other thing that collectors really have to start wrapping their head around. Comps are one thing and seeing things online, but you're going to start to see, I think, in this next year, people start to keep in mind with the comps, and you'll see a little shift of the overall cost to get it to that comp. They're going to start thinking about, well, now if I'm going to send in a card that's under $20 because I'm really shooting for that 10 to 10x that card, if I get the 9, like, you know, I'm losing money. So how do I kind of skirt that? I'm going to, now when I go to sell it, I'm going to include the cost of that grading in that overall sale. And I don't blame them, honestly.
That's like using the cost of shipping and taxes in an eBay sale.
Correct.
Yeah. Good.
But you know what? This was big news, but it is nowhere as big as the release of Topps Chrome basketball this week. And Steve, Jeremy, when I talk about this product, it is insanity to think, because yesterday they were already opening first day issue. This was a product that they did the Dutch auction where it started at $3,800 and then they dropped it every 20 minutes until it sold out. Well, Jeremy, it hit a floor of $1,750, I believe, and then it sold out.
Per box.
Per box.
Right.
Per box. Now, Jeremy, you do have the opportunity
cardboard, right?
to get...
This is cardboard we're talking about?
With a chrome finish. With a chrome finish.
Yeah.
But you do have the opportunity to receive autographs from individuals that may or may not be in the G League right now. So, I mean, that is the ultimate concern. But I mean, it's back, and it's back with a vengeance. And the marketing push around this product, guys, I thought 100%. I was like, gosh, there is no way like you're going to really push this product near the holidays, and people are spending everything, all the money elsewhere. This is going to be a very expensive product, and it's going to be hard to get a hold of. It's going to be wild, 100%. The other big news with this product, what is also going to drive it, is they are going to participate in the MVP buyback from this product. So they already showed like the odds of people that you need to start hanging on to. So like SGA, Jokic, all those like I know I'm missing a few, Wemby, that kind of stuff, but their base cards, it's going to be just like baseball. So that's going to ramp up the demand for this product even more. And it's going to also drive the overall availability of having the smaller SKUs like the value boxes or the mega boxes. So this is going to be a huge release. This releases on Thursday. What releases tomorrow is Cosmic Chrome Baseball, another product that is crazy hot. For me, I'm all about photography. I'm not a huge guy with the backgrounds of all the wild planets and all that stuff, but somebody loves, like, there are tons of somebodies that love this product. And Cosmic Chrome Baseball, if you're able to get your hands on that, that's going to be another one. I would recommend getting it on release day, because as the week goes on, that product is only going to climb in cost for collectors and even flippers at that point.
Joe, when I was in my, let's call it my collecting heyday, when I was buying packs and collecting, you had the players that were in the leagues at those times that came out, you were collecting that set. These days, we just saw an AI card with an autograph. We opened some packs the other day and hit on a Larry Bird and a Magic Johnson. What does that do for the market? Is that something people get excited about? You're getting a throwback card of somebody who's no longer in the league, but might have been a prime superstar, versus you had a shot to collect these cards when they came out in that year, and that's it.
Jeremy, I'm going to answer your question with a quick anecdote about whenever I turn on NBA Classic or ESPN Classic and my kids are in the room, and this is really for anything that's pre-2010 and doesn't have HD cameras. So anytime that it doesn't fill up the complete screen at 1080 and it's small and there's windows and it looks a little granular, I get, well, Dad, you're watching something from olden times, right? And I say, well, I mean, olden times, it was like 5 years before you were born, but like, I guess olden time, like, Jeremy, nobody, like, if they're not, it's out of sight, out of mind for these young collectors coming up. And if I get a cool ray wave of Larry Bird, you and I think that that's awesome, or Magic Johnson, but a young collector's like, dude, I could care. I want a Jaden McDaniels. You know, I want a Chet Holmgren, like something like, you know, an SGA ray wave. It doesn't matter that they are a rookie, you know, 9 years ago, or a Devin Booker. Like, they want that now because they can see that on TV. That I can see reels and highlights from yesterday in 30-second clips. Those are the guys I want. I don't want to see the long story about a guy from French Lick, Indiana, or from North Carolina that there's no 3-point line around when Michael Jordan played. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that's what we hear from the young kids and collectors. I mean, honestly, you're going to get me fired up right now even talking about this, Jeremy, because to have someone come into the shop and then they want to argue about who's better, Jordan or LeBron, drives me through the roof. Like, you can say what you want, longevity, I get that, but like, dude, you will have to, I will die on this. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. There's no question. Like, and young players, I mean, at the end of the day, he's the greatest. He's the greatest. And I would probably say, you know, LeBron and Kobe would be there 2 and 3.
We'll do that another day.
Yeah, challenge me. And their card prices, I think, would say so too.
That is true. That I will give you that. Michael Jordan's card prices are number one.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to
we,
end so
we can have a
fired up.
conversation. It might be a short one. You're talking to a guy from East Ohio that saw LeBron play in high school through today, and I also saw Michael Jordan play. And I'd be hard pressed to say Michael Jordan is not. He is the greatest basketball player I've ever seen. So,
Jeremy, also, I had to bring this up to a couple of youngsters that didn't believe me, but I remember watching LeBron playing for St. Vincent St. Mary's. Do you remember when they had to cover up the tattoos with tape? And people were like, what? I was like, oh,
Yep.
yeah, dude. It was a huge deal that players like high school players couldn't have the tattoos. And the
Yep.
kids nowadays are like, that's unreal. Yeah.
And
it's real.
there's a whole litany of things from acquiring jerseys and driving a Hummer around that today in today's NIL world, people wouldn't bat an eye. But
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, but
Joe,
Well,
thanks,
I
man.
appreciate you guys.
Good stuff as always.
yeah,
Enjoy
tell
the-
everybody where we can find you, Joe.
Yes, you can find me at 59th and Thunderbird at Phoenix Sports Cards, also at PHX Sports Cards on Instagram, or Cut the Nonsense every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Sports Cards Nonsense Network.
Fantastic stuff as always, Joe.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Catch you later.
Appreciate you, Joe. Thanks to resident insider for the hobby, Joe Wysmierski out of Phoenix Sports Cards. As he said, you can see him on Sports Cards Nonsense. Of course, Greeny Sports Cards Live is presented by Collectibles on SI. Make sure you head over to si.com/collectibles for the latest news, latest insight, terrific articles led by Danny Black and his team. And it's where we get our news first and foremost, part of the Sports Cards Nonsense Network. We appreciate their support. And Greeny, one of our favorite segments week over week is Card Show Live, where we go over the hottest card shows, highlighting some of the card shows around the country. And if you have a show that you'd like highlighted, make sure you submit that. You can reach us on any of the socials, send your card shows in here, and you may be even featured as a guest on our show, as we've had multiple producers on over the last couple months talking about all the great card shows across the country. Let's get to Card Show Live.
Well, Jeremy, welcome on into another edition of Card Show Live. We have 5 pretty cool shows that are going around the country this week. And I actually have some information. I talked to some of the producers of the shows, and they sent me some information. So I'm going to go through a few of these here, starting with the Broadview Heights show, which is our show. It is this Saturday, December the 20th at the Woodside Event Center. 100 tables, and this is our last show of the year, the last Greeny Sports Card show of the year. 100 tables, always sold out. A great mix of sports and Pokemon. And people always ask me, like, what's the percentage? So if I'm going to have to guess, it's probably 70% sports and 30% Pokemon for this show. We have our own TCG shows, but this one is mainly sports. And it's been going on for a couple of years, and people line up. We have a great crowd. And the admission money this week also, Jeremy, is going to Rainbows and Babies Hospital, which we've been doing the last couple months. We also did the Muni Kids, Muni Lot Cards, and did that for another day. But so that's number 1, the Broadview Heights show, Saturday, December 20th. Number 2 on the list is the Orlando Card show. And Louis Morales runs this show at the Shrine Center. They're celebrating 20 years. So I actually reached out to him. It's been in this location for 8 years, but before that, it was at the Sheraton Hotel. They're going to have 53 tables at this show. It's a 2-day show. JSA, they have there occasionally. And this show is 95% sports, is what he said. There is a little Pokemon, but this one is typical good old-fashioned sports card show. They have many dealers that sell vintage. They have high end, they have low end. Like I said, JSA sometimes comes. They're going to be there this weekend for the 20th 20-year celebration of this show. The Shrine Center, over 50 tables, that is in Orlando, Florida. Louis Morales is running that show. Then the third show on our list is the Huntington County Fairgrounds, which is David Nolan's show. This is a 100 table show, and it has everything. And David's been running this show. This is the first year that they've actually been producing this show, but it does get a great mix. They have everything from the dollar box to high end. It is in Huntington, Indiana. They have a food truck called What You Havin'. Sounds like something I would like to try. But David's been collecting cards for 35 years, decided to try a show. They do trivia at the show. They do prizes. They give away the Hobby Defender cases. So a lot of good things going on in Huntington, Indiana. DCN Sports Cards is where you can find them. Number 4 is another local show in Cleveland, and I wanted to give this show a little bit of praise. Middleburg Heights. Justin, who we know very well, had a tremendous loss in his family this week, and we wanted to share our condolences with that. But they do have the Middleburg Heights show. It is still going on. This is their holiday show. They do it every year. 60 tables, and if we weren't having our show this week, we would probably be there hanging out, because it is a nice little show in Middleburg Heights, which is a suburb of Cleveland. And then the number 5 show on the list is the Greencastle Sports Card and Memorabilia Show in Greencastle, PA. A fellow by the name of Phil Showalter runs this show, and I've actually, it's probably been 20 years. I set up at one of his shows, I believe in Harrisburg Mall. But this is a show that always gets talked about in Greencastle, Pennsylvania. I know our friend Eric Basile goes to that show, and plenty others do. And this show has been going on for a long time. 80 tables. This one is Sunday. It is December the 21st in Greencastle, Pennsylvania. So there's the rundown of our top 5 shows this week to attend. Broadview Heights, Orlando, Huntington, Indiana, Middleburg Heights, and Greencastle, Pennsylvania. And if there's a show in your neck of the woods that we haven't mentioned, go check those out as well.
Great stuff, Greenie, as always. Want to let everybody know about Sport Card Auctions, one of our great partners here, Dave and his team. If you are looking to turn your card collection into serious cash, which maybe Tim Banazek is at some point, I would recommend he goes to Sport Card Auctions. They will make it simple. They've got professional authentication and auction services. All you have to do is ship your cards to them. His team will handle it all. They will take care of the photography. They will list the cards for you. They will take care of the shipping. His team has over 15 years of experience with a 99% satisfaction rate from the customers. They're the trusted choice for thousands of collectors from vintage to modern. Make sure you check out sportcardauctions.com, where your cards get the spotlight they deserve.
No doubt. I can't argue with that. Not one bit, Jeremy.
Can't argue with this either, Greenie. You mentioned the Muni Lot Kids card set, the edition. You just sent a shipment out today. The proceeds from this 32 card set, supported by Big Play, of course, my friend McNeil, came up with the concept. We help print and distribute them, raising funds for kids in need at UH Rainbow Babies. Previously, we raised funds for the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. We appreciate everybody's support, as you mentioned earlier. You want to talk a really cool card collection, Greenie?
I do. And I thought that I bought some cool card collections, but this one here, you mentioned earlier, and they say 20 million cards. To put it into perspective, you've been over to our bank vault, our office. Jeremy, I don't have 1 million cards. Okay. And I'm going to ask this to Tim too. If I had $1 for everybody that told me that they had 1 million cards, I'd probably be out of it. But like 1 million cards is an awful lot. 1 million times 20.
Times 20. Well, Tim Banazek is the man behind the big league find. It is a jaw-dropping discovery of more than 20 million cards unearthed in suburban Virginia. It's believed to be the largest private collection in the world. It's a treasure trove that spans decades of sports history from vintage to modern. He's already revealed rare and iconic cards featuring Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Ken Griffey Jr. And as I said earlier, what began as a backyard find has become a journey of discovery, uncovering, cataloging, and sharing one of the most extraordinary collections on Earth. And I believe he's only at about 5% or so of discovering what's in this collection. So with that, Greeny, let's proudly welcome in Tim Banazek.
What's going on, guys?
Tim, how are you? How is it?
I'm doing great, man. I'm actually in the shop. If I could sleep here, I would, but unfortunately that's just not in the cards. But I got to tell you guys first, thanks for having me on. I love doing this stuff. I love talking about it. I can't get enough of it. I literally love this stuff. Or I hope I love it, because I got 20 million pieces of it, man. You know?
Yeah. So let's start off with this. But before this ever came to fruition, or you ever thought about it, you told me you started collecting cards in 1979. I remember the earliest times I collected was like probably 1983. I remember opening packs, but you remember 1979 and Ozzie Smith rookies in 1980, Ricky Henderson, and that's really how you got your love for sports cards, baseball cards, really at the time, right?
So yeah, like it's really unique, because I was 8 years old when I got my actual first. I'm sorry, I was 9 when I got my first rack pack in my stocking, and it had a Tony Dorsett rookie. I actually remember it. I don't have it anymore, but I opened it up, ripped it up Christmas morning, and ripped open the pack and thought it was the greatest thing in the world, because TD was my guy. They had just beaten the Broncos, but I really didn't know much about collecting, and it really didn't set a tone for me till probably 81. I collected in 80, wrapped all the cards in rubber bands by teams, probably had 3 or 4 Henderson rookies that were just destroyed by the rubber bands. And, and you just didn't care for cards back then, like we do now. But 81, man, Fleer, Donruss, and Topps. And that's when I fell in love with it. No doubt about it.
As all of us did. I'm sure you checked off the check marks and made your sets. And I mean, That's what we did.
That's right. Here's the thing about collecting for me is I never looked at collecting as a business, even when I was younger. And I love that for the hobby. I love that it's become this great opportunity, and there are so many different avenues that you can enter this great world, or the great hobby of sports card collecting, or Pokemon card, just general collecting cards, collecting cardboard. And I think that that's what's really, really cool about this. And I don't know if you want me to dive into the collection a little bit. I can, because once I start talking about this thing, it's you actually really got to start reining me in, guys.
And listen, Chaz, there was a comment already that says about your energy about this collection, but we got to get there first, right? So you grew up, you collected cards, presumably, did the school thing and got a job, and then take us through your life. What happened?
So yeah, you guys are gonna flip. I actually, I stopped collecting in probably 87. I was, I was 16, 17 years old. A lot of things were happening. I played baseball in high school, and then went on and played in college. So it sort of hit me in the head, oh my God, I collect sports cards, and, all my buddies are going out and hanging out with people and the girls and all the kinds of stuff. And I'm sitting here, rearranging my sports cards. And I'm not saying I was doing that on a Friday night, but probably not far from it. I really did love it. And then transitioned out of it. And I went to college, played ball. And then here's the weird part. I got a job with Tough Stuff Publications in 1996. And I really didn't collect. I didn't even think about it because it was a job. At that point, it was a job for me, and I'm selling advertising. And I'm not really think about the stuff that I could have accumulated working for a magazine where all the manufacturers were sending this free stuff in for us to review, like our price guide to review, our editors to review. And all I had to do was go down Kobe Bryant rookies. Come on, man. Topps Finest was in the thick of it at that point. And like, I think about the stuff I could accumulate, and I didn't. I thought of it as a job. Flash forward, did not even think about collecting until the pandemic. I had just sold one of my businesses, and I was trying to figure out what my next joy was going to be. That was it. It was what am I going to do next? And I started buying cards off of eBay, not cards, I should say, wax, early 80s wax on eBay. And I was doing it. I don't know what I was even going to do with the stuff. I had no idea. I was just going to get it and just, was I going to open it? I have no idea, but yeah. And I get this box in, open it up, and I get a message from a really good friend of ours, and she says, stop buying on eBay. You got to come and see my dad's collection. And I'm like, okay, where am I going? Texas? California? Colorado? Where am I going? And the next thing you know, she's telling me that he lives 15 freaking minutes from my house. 15. And I'm like, can I go tomorrow? Like, at that point, I'm like, can I go tomorrow? I'm like, I'm locked in. Yeah. Can I go tomorrow? So, I then go and I see the collection, and, to try to condense it, when I walked into the first room, I was seeing things that I dreamed of holding when I was a kid. Not even owning, but I dreamed of holding. And I don't even think that it ever crossed my mind that I would ever have an opportunity to hold these things. And it became this journey that day, through each room. It's my love for the collection started growing, not just for collecting, because I was already happened with wanting to get back into it. But as I'm going through each room, I'm now falling in love with the collection, and the owner started seeing this, and we started connecting on a level that really, I can't really explain it other than the fact that by the last room, he and I are jawboning, and we're talking about, he's sharing with me about how he started collecting in the early 1950s. And I'm asking him, like, do you have original cards from when you collected back then? Absolutely, he said. Absolutely. And now I'm sitting there going, come on, man, like, for real? Like, this is awesome. Like, this is really, really cool, because I can't even keep the cards that I had from 1980. And this guy maintained cards from the time he was, a child. And I thought that was really cool. I leave, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm calling one of my best collecting friends from when I was a kid, and he's telling me to buy it. He's like, you're crazy. You should buy it. This is perfect for you. This is this is what you should do. This is your next, this is your next adventure. And lo and behold, I don't want to get into too much detail, but I'll actually I'll share this with you guys. At one point during, as I was considering this, I actually had tears coming down my eyes because I literally said to myself, I can't walk away from this. Now that I've seen it, I can't walk away. But what am I going to do with it? And more importantly, I don't think I was meant to see this or to buy this. This was meant for somebody else who could do something with it, or who had these grand ideas. And little did I know that I didn't really need all the answers in that moment. I really didn't need everything answered in that moment, even though I was processing, my brain processes like that. So I ended up buying it, and I can tell you it's the greatest adventure, the greatest thing that I've done for myself in my life in a really, really long time. And it's, people ask me what it feels like to walk into it. At first I was overwhelmed. I think it overwhelms anybody. 20 million cards. It can overwhelm anybody. And I think I do not take it for granted. What I do is I embrace the moments that I do have here. And people, it may sound corny, but I don't get tired of it. And I probably look at the stuff that I've found rather than going and searching for more stuff. Because do you guys remember when we were kids, you looked at your collections all the time in your favorite card? You could literally stare at your favorite card and you thought it was almost like going to dance off the cardboard, in front of you, because you loved that one specific card. And I feel like that's what this collection is for me. And I don't know if you guys saw, my dad passed away back in 2022, and his favorite player was Nolan Ryan. And we went and saw Nolan Ryan as a kid. We used to go up to Montreal and Toronto, and we used to go up, and I think Nolan Ryan at the time was playing for the Astros, I believe, through most of that period. And when I got the collection, well, actually, when I saw the collection, I looked through the 1968 set, held the Nolan Ryan card for the first time, got really emotional about it. And my dad was alive at the time. And I remember calling my dad and telling him that I held the Nolan Ryan card, and that I was going to buy a collection, or I might have already bought it. I think I already bought it. And I said, Dad, I held the Nolan Ryan card. And then when I got it over here, I proceeded to find a lot more Nolan Ryan rookies in the collection. And it's probably the most meaningful card because of how much it meant to my father and me, because I remember seeing the card at a show in Cooperstown in the 1982, I think it was the 1982 induction, when Hank Aaron and Frank Robinson were inducted into the Hall of Fame. And we were at a card show up in Cooperstown. And I remember seeing the card, and my dad loved Nolan Ryan. And at that point, the card was maybe $100, $80. I don't even know back then, but I couldn't afford it. And my dad wasn't buying it for me, and we weren't holding it. So that's where I think the love of that card started. And it's sort of just evolved. And this collection is pretty, it's presented 4 of them. And I can tell you, it's pretty awesome holding those cards now. No doubt.
Tim, you mentioned, and I got the sense of a bit of obligation when you walked into that room the first time and felt you wanted to do right by your friend and the collection. So what is the vision for this for you? Is it as a caretaker? Do you want to build a museum-like experience? What is your ultimate vision now that you've digested this on some level, that you're in possession of this massive collection?
So you hit a lot of good points. I think first, I don't want to sell it. That's really important. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to ultimately, sell some cards for, charity or for, mind you, I have social media people that I got to pay at this point, and I'm paying them out of pocket. And at some point, I'm like, I got to figure something out. Like, I'm doing the best I can, but I got to figure something out. So I'm trying to figure that out. But Jeremy, I would say museum is a really, you hit something on the head with that. I think sharing it is really my main obligation. I think that this wasn't just meant for me. And if you guys watch our socials, I do giveaways every week, and the giveaways are more, it's more about vintage. It's more about cards that are not available anymore. Meaning, mantles from the 60s and the 50s, mazes, mutuals, Clementes, all that stuff. Those are the cards that I like to focus on. And here's just something, and I do got to share this. Like people ask me, like if you're giving away a 1969 Mickey Mantle, like, does that mean you have, how many do you have in the collection? And without, this isn't boasting. This is what was accumulated long before me. But when you have 14 or 15 1969 Mickey Mantle cards just in boxes, and you're like, this is nuts, man. Like, it literally is like this is crazy. And it's not just there, but it's, 4 or 5 Mantle 1958 cards. And these are, I believe, originals. Like, these are cards that he accumulated when he was, a kid. And not a kid. I don't know if he was a kid then, but maybe a teenager or young adult, whatever he was. But that's what really makes me happy. When somebody who messages you and says, I couldn't afford this card ever, and now I'm going to own it. And I say this with all due respect, but we take for granted that we hold these cards every day. You go out and you buy cards and you resell them, and you're buying vintage, and you get to hold a 1965 Mickey Mantle or whatever year or whatever card that is. And I feel like I'm tuned in to some of these people that just, they're working their asses off, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to they're working their butts off, and, and whatever I can give back from this place is special to me. That's what it's all about right now. So again, Jeremy, trying to answer your question, giving away the collection, slowly but surely, and ultimately, probably down the road, there is talks of a museum. There's talks of some other things on the production side, but right now, I'm just having the time of my life. And I got to tell you, talking cards at 7:54 p.m. with a couple of dudes is pretty cool, man. Speaking with, Greenie and Jeremy on a pod is on a live pod is I can't complain, right? I can't complain.
No, we can do this all day, all night. It's so interesting to hear that the amount of cards that you have not gone through. Like, there's no chance I could contain myself. I would be going through box after box 24 hours a day.
So, Greenie, I would tell you yes, because that's what happened to me probably in the first 6 months. I was ripping boxes as fast as, but it stalled. And I'm telling you, when all of a sudden you start finding stuff that makes you smile every day, it makes you genuinely excited to walk into the shop, it sort of slows the pace down. It slows the pace down, and it brings everything back to center of, okay, I just found, I don't know, a 1933 Gaudi Lou Gehrig, and you're like, who doesn't want to hold that card on a daily basis? Like, come on, man. Like, that's pretty cool. And when you find, a T20, T205, Christy Mathewson graded, and like, I'm a vintage guy. So, that's what I gravitate to. I loved your conversation earlier with Joe about, who is the greatest basketball player. Like, I'm going to tell you that, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going with Michael Jordan all day long. And it's not even a question to me. But then I would actually go with, Magic Johnson and all these players, and Julius Erving and Kareem, and those are the guys that that to me, those are the greatest basketball players of all time. And I love, it's the same thing with baseball. Who's the greatest hitter of all time? Ted Williams and Tony Gwynn. Not a question. Nobody and I'm creating all these debates now that will be really interesting for your viewers. But yeah, that's what's really cool about this collection. And I think I've learned and I've accepted that the collection's in the right hands. It really did. I feel like I'm doing the right thing with it, because I actually do believe, and there's nothing wrong with this, but I believe that it could have gone into somebody else's hands and they would have broken it up and sold it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't. That's a choice. I had the luxury that I didn't need to do that in my life. So, I've chosen this, probably people are like, this dude's nuts. This dude's crazy. Like, what the hell is he doing? But I don't think I'm crazy, and I'm having a lot of fun. And I accept the responsibility of owning this landmark of a collection, no doubt.
Yeah,
we could spend another hour with you, and we'd love to have you back, and even for updates on some of your finds.
So I'm going to say this to you guys, and I say this to everybody that when I go on, it's an open invitation. Come down, experience it, because I promise you, you will never experience anything like it. I have had two, I would say, historians. They have forgotten more about cards than I will ever know. That's the one thing I actually I'm gonna spend 10 seconds, because I'm like, I don't have this grand knowledge. Like, people message me and they ask me these questions, and I'm like ask. Now I'm gonna say ask Greenie. Don't ask me, because you know a hell of a lot more about cards than I do. I just am a collector. Like, that's what I am. I'm just like anybody else asking a question. I have so many questions all the time. But to get back to it, I've had a couple of what I would consider historians walk in here, because I started questioning, is this what I think it is? Is this, and it's amazing when everything is validated, when the person literally that knows so much about the hobby walks in and says, yeah, man, wow. And this is not, by far, is this the most valuable collection? What it is, I think it's the most epic. I think it is and I said it earlier, I actually believe it's a landmark collection. And I think that people would love to see it. I do.
Might be the most authentic because it's pure from start to finish. So Tim, it sounds like a road trip is starting to take shape. So we may take you up on that offer. We'll bring some cameras.
May. This isn't
let
a
everybody
May.
know where they could find you.
At the Big League Find, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we are on YouTube. Those are our main platforms. We are actually in the process of also doing a podcast, but it's more about the collection, and it's more about not general hobby knowledge. It's more of, being a collector and, and actually having that interaction as collectors and sharing information and sharing, sharing fun stuff. Yeah.
Well, listen, fantastic. We really appreciate it. Love the videos, love the enthusiasm. Everything about it's great. And we are going to do this again sometime.
Yeah. You guys are awesome. You guys are doing great work, man. For real. I have a blast doing this, and I really appreciate you guys having me. Thanks. Thanks, Greeny. Thanks, Jeremy.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Tim. Our thanks to Tim Banazek, the Big League Find, 20 million plus sports cards. Thanks to Joe Wysmierski, Phoenix Sports Cards as well, for joining us on Hobby News. Thanks to Haley behind the board. Thanks to Alex Schott, who you can join at 9 o'clock tonight on eBay Live. Make sure you jump in. Alex has all auctions starting at $2 a piece, and he has a lot of fun with you guys dictating that auction as well. Greeny, thank you. Thanks to our viewers for joining us week over week. We will be back next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, as we do every week. And I imagine at some point coming up here, we'll have a year in review. We've had some amazing guests, amazing content this year, and can't wait to share all that again with you. So with Greeny, I will say, may the cards forever be in your favor.
Jeremy, once again, have a good night, everybody.